Hi guys, it's Monday, and today it's Jazz on, Waxing on. Today we're going to look at a trumpet player from Hollywood who is fairly well known among other trumpet players, but maybe not as widely well known to the general public. And I'm talking about Jack Sheldon. Now, I first became aware of Jack Sheldon in the early 60s from a TV show my parents were watching called Run Buddy Run, where it was a comedy. Buddy had overheard something in a steam room, and now the mob were chasing him, and he was on the lam. And Jack Sheldon had the lead role. So I knew Jack Sheldon firstly as a comedy actor. And it wasn't until the 70s, when I started playing trumpet and I was in high school, that Jack showed up again. And he was trumpet player on Merv Griffin's show. And at the beginning of the show, Merv and Jack would always have this little thing going on where they'd be shooting jokes back and forth at each other. Sometimes Jack would be playing, and it was something that I would race home from school every day just to catch that opening segment on Merv's show, just to see Jack and listen to him play. And sometimes the band was featured, and he would be featured. I remember there's one clip you can find, I think, on YouTube, Jack Sheldon and John Phat trading off solos, if you can imagine. So at this point, I'm aware of Jack as a trumpet player and interested in finding out some of his music. But in those days, and this would be the early to mid 70s, record stores didn't carry a lot of music that wasn't very commercially popular. It was hard to find. And something by an artist who was, again, not really widely well known to the general public wasn't going to get a lot of airplay and not going to get a lot of stock in these record stores. So it wasn't until Amazon came along and digital music that I actually was able to buy some of Jack's music. And a couple of albums I'm just going to talk about today, the ones that I enjoyed, and both of them involved Jack with a big band, although now Jack often performed with smaller groups, of course. First one I have, called Jack's Back. I'll try and get that so you don't see the glare. Jack in a big band. And the kind of music he's playing, Here's That Rainy Day, Have You Met Miss Jones, Just in Time, Come Fly With Me, Satin Doll, New York, New York. Pretty standard jazz tunes. He's backed by a big band, and arrangements for these are all by Tom Kubis, who we'll talk about a little later. He shows up playing in one of the groups, but in this group, he's got a lot of Hollywood players, and most notably, a few of the Big Phat Band. On trumpet, we have Wayne Bergeron. Trombone, we have Andy Martin. And playing saxophone, if you can imagine, Gordon Goodwin sitting in the sax section. Now this one, again, was more of a studio album. But then Jack did another one, and this was what I enjoyed, because you know how much I like those live albums. Jack Sheldon, the JSO Live on the Pacific Ocean. Now this was an album, I'll just read what it says. Jack was on the Pacific Ocean. They were on the famous Queen Mary at Long Beach, California. This one was more of a concert. You had Jack playing songs. You had Jack doing little comedy bits in between the songs, comedy breaks. And again, backed by a big band. Andy Martin still back with them. Tom Kubis is now playing saxophone in the sax section. Ron Stout, former trumpet player with Woody Herman's band, playing trumpet with them. Now, again, this is a good cross-section of what you would have seen, because Jack doing the comedy bits was a big part of his performance. But some great trumpet playing in there too, and backed by an excellent big band. Now, even at this point, I'm aware of Jack's playing. I enjoy what I'm listening to there, but I really didn't know a lot about Jack Sheldon. And then I found this. I'll see if I can get that. Trying to Get Good. The Jazz Odyssey of Jack Sheldon. And it's a biography, a great introduction into what Jack was about, and if you know of him, it really brings home the impact he had on music and how important he was. I'll just read you a little bit on the back liner here. It says, "Who is Jack Sheldon? You may remember him as Merv Griffin's trumpet-wielding sidekick, or the double voice of Schoolhouse Rock, but musicians know him as a jazz giant. Trying to Get Good features historic footage of Benny Goodman, Stan Kenton, Jack's close friendship with Chet Baker, Lenny Bruce, among others." One quote that's on here, and I've seen it a number of times, and it says, "He's Hollywood's best kept secret. When the stars come out to play, it's Jack Sheldon who plays for them." So an excellent DVD if you can get your hands on it to get a real idea of what Jack was all about and what he was doing and how important he was to music. So my recommendations, and not just for trumpet players, but certainly if you're a trumpet player, somebody to check out, we've got Jack's back with the big band, the Jack Sheldon Orchestra live, which a good representation of one of his live concerts, and a great video trying to get good. Okay, that's it for today. We'll see you on Wednesday when we are back with Classic Rock. Everybody stay safe. See you Wednesday.